So yesterday I talked about this get dates array function. I added it to my DataWeave Scripts repo as I said I would. But now, because I posted it in the DataWeave Slack workspace that you can find in dataweave.mulesoft.com here, Mariano, which is one of the founders of DataWeave, basically, gave me an alternative that was super nice. So just a quick recap of this function that I explained in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, you can just go here and watch the video. This is the tail recursive function that I created. It has a start date, end date, and it will basically count from two given dates, for example, the 16 and 18, and it will return an array of all of the dates within those two dates. So basically it just comes in a function. If start date is more than end date, then this is incorrect, so it just sends an empty array. Else if start date is equal to end date, it returns a new array, which is a result that we are creating here of dates array, which is the array plus start date. And if neither of those are met, then we go to the final, which is call the get dates array again, and then send the start date 1 day after. So it starts at 16, then it goes to 17, then it goes to 18. So when it goes to 18, the start date and end date are equal because we have 18 and 18. So it returns a new array, which is the final result, which is this array. Anyway, I posted this and turns out that there's a better way to do it because it's a lazy evaluation. So you get basically the same result, but Moreno said that it was a better code to do, although we couldn't find any kind of documentation explaining what it's doing. He said that it was called, let me tell you, head and tail constructor. So he said this is a lazy evaluation, so it does the tail recursion elimination, basically. So what we're doing here with that then is that we have another function. We still have start date and end date, but we no longer have the dates array that we are sending here, which is funny. This is new to me. I literally just started learning about this today, so I'm sorry if I don't explain everything like super accurate. But basically we have again the same conditions. If start date is more than end date, then we send the empty array, which we did here too. Then here we were just sending back new array, and that was it. But here, because we don't have the new array variable, because we don't have the dates array parameter, then this changes. If start date equals to end date, then we're gonna send back an array of start date. Basically, this means only, like the only single time where these two are met, we're gonna send back the start date, and we can check that out. If I do a log, for example, if I do a log, then I will only be able to see these once if I have both times on the 18, for example. Here, I can see this being called just once, and we have the array with just 1 day. But if this were to be 16, as we were expecting, we will not see anything here because this condition is never going to execute. Or we do. I thought I had run this before and it did not execute. Oh well, turns out that it's the same then. It's the same as the doing the tail recursion. So it does execute once every time unless the first condition is met. So, okay, so this is, again, I'm just learning about this today, so it may be a bit confusing for me too. So this then goes back and returns, this is executed once then. Okay, so then we have the else, which is, we have like an array here at the top. And then inside the array, we have start date. And then we're using this operator, I guess. We didn't find any documentation on this, so I'm not sure what this is. I am assuming it's an operator. But I've only seen this when you use like this operator, which this is an operator. But just this symbol on its own, I don't know what it is, to be honest. I think it's an operator. Mariano, feel free to tell me what it is. Then we have the daysUntil, like the function is executing again. So daysUntil will be called again. This is the head of the array. That's what I understood. So the head of the array is always going to be the start date. And then here we have the tail of the array. So we are sending once more, we're calling the daysUntil function. And then just as we did in the tail recursive function, we're sending the start date plus one day, which is what we're doing here. And then sending the end date here. The end date never changes. And then it will continue executing just as the tail recursive function, but this is a different syntax. So I'm gonna add all of this code in my GitHub repo. So this is going to be called daysUntil. And you call it basically days date and then daysUntil and then date final, because these are two parameters. So you can call it however you want. You can also do daysUntil and then date final. And that also works here. But it looks better in the other kind of syntax like this. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. This is what I'm gonna upload. And then I was playing around with other kinds of things that we can do. And I came up, hold on. Good enough. I came up with this other example. So for example, if you, because I wanted to confirm 100% sure that this is indeed a tail recursive function, or like how do you call, like a lazy evaluation function thing. So it's not gonna get stuck in, I can do 254, and if I do 255, it's not gonna get stuck. I can do 5,000 and it's not getting stuck. I'm basically just creating an array of numbers. But this, like, it's the same syntax. As you can see here, we have the array, and then we have the head, and then we have the tail, and in the tail we're calling this again. But there is no need to create an additional parameter as you would do in a tail recursive function. So I'm still getting used to it. I think Mariano told me something. Oh, here's another example. Let's try the other example. I'm gonna leave this open so I can add this code. Yeah, I can add that code too. So, okay. He sent me this example. I have never seen this before, so bear with me. Okay, this is more or less like what I was doing to create numbers 1 to 100. Anyway, I'm gonna add this example too once I understand what it's doing. But for now, I'm just gonna put it here. I'm not gonna explain it because I still have to go through it. As I said, like, he just sent me this. But anyway, I'm gonna add the 3 examples, this one, and this one. to the repo so you can just see the differences. I guess I'm gonna create a new section because this is not strictly tail recursive function. It's like a different syntax. So I will add it as head and tail constructor, he said, I think. Head and tail constructor. So yeah, I'm gonna add another section here. So recursive, tail recursive, and then head and tail constructor here. So I'm gonna put those 3 examples there so you can see them. And feel free to explain it to me because I'm still trying to understand it. But if I get a better grasp of what it's doing, I will create another video explaining exactly what's happening because I'm still trying to understand. But all right, here's another way of doing the same functionality that I showed you, the get dates array. So this will be the daysUntil array, daysUntil function that I will add in my repo. All right, so I guess that's all for today's video. I hope I can get more clarity to create a video about this tomorrow. If not, I will figure out what else to do. All right, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!